Here we're going to take a look at belay escapes. And when we talk about belay escapes here, there's really a lot of components to it. We can talk about belay escapes when we're top roping, but also belay escapes when we're leading. Here we're going to focus on lead belay escapes first. As with all of our skills, we're always going to really look for non-technical solutions first. And that's a huge one, and especially for lead climbing. Doing any kind of belay escape while you're lead belaying can be pretty complex, and particularly multi-pitch settings, and there's a lot of things to consider. So if we can find non-technical solutions, that's the advantage here. Here we're going to do a belay escape with a lead climber. And first, if I've got a climber who's fallen and needs some help, ideally I'm just going to lower them. What might be called leader retreat, where they just are able to get lowered, and there's some different ways to do that that we can show in another lesson. I can hopefully have my leader help me. I might be able to have them clip into gear or hold onto the rock to help facilitate something. Here, Zeke is going to be my leader. I'm going to have him lead up on our wall here, so go ahead, Zeke. And notice here I'm belaying with an assisted braking device, a gree-gree. Now I could be belaying with just a regular device like an ATC. But there's a lot of advantages to lead belaying with an assisted braking device. Zeke's working on his lead climbing skills here. And a lot of advantages to using a device like a gree-gree. A lot of climbing gyms now are really requiring the use of an assisted braking device for lead belaying in their facilities, sometimes even for top roping. We can do a belay escape with a regular ATC. Oh, buddy, hey, I think you Z-clipped there. You Z-clipped. You see that? So let's switch it here. Okay, you Z-clipped. All right. He's working on his lead skills here, and the draws are really close together, so he can have a lot of quick draws to practice clipping.
Clipping is really fun.
So here, because I prefer a gree-gree, that's why I'm going to demonstrate this belay escape with the gree-gree on there. Zeke was excited to help me teach this lesson so that he could climb. There you go. Make sure you grab from your knot. There you go, buddy. All right. Whoa. All right. Can you climb up a little bit higher? Here, let me just get you up a little higher so you're not grappling the screen. All right, there you go. All right. Didn't even tell me. So here, we'll say Zeke is our leader. He has fallen, and I need to help him. Now, like I said, ideally we're going to lower him, or we're going to have him retreat. But if we can't do that, we're going to start doing a belay escape here. And first, I already built an anchor that's designed for an upward pull with a couple of bolts here. I could have also been placing gear. Here, I could have even used maybe my anchor here. Ideally, something lower than me can really work well for you, particularly if you're in the single pitch realm and have to get a belay escape done. You might have to be using a tree maybe at the base, some really big rocks, boulders, or maybe gear. And so here, I built my anchor for an upward pull. And I built it ahead of time just to help speed things up a little bit. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition this rope onto this munter here. First, I'm going to start by putting my munter. I'm going to put a climb heist on here with my rope, with my cordelette. Okay. Gonna build my munter on here. have it in that load position. And then I'm going to mule it. And I'm just going to pass the tails through there. I can slide that climb high stuff to help it catch. Okay. What I can do now, I put that cat knot in directly behind my gree-gree. And give a little slack here. Just kind of make sure that that's going to hold. Okay, looks like it is holding. I'm going to leave my gree-gree on as a backup while I build the next part here. And this is where I'm going to put Zeke's climbing rope on that anchor. Okay, need to give myself a little bit more slack there. Feed some slack out. Build my munter. I'm going to milk this up and try to get some of that slack out. Now I feel pretty good. I already have that munter on there, so my gree-gree is like a backup to the munter. So I'm going to take my cat knot out. Just give myself a bunch of slack here. It's funny, you start muling things and they're in a different orientation. Feel a little awkward. So there we go. Muncher mule overhand. Now I'm going to release my cord that I had muncher muled. Slide that down and take that out. And now I've gotten a baseline where I've got my leader secured on that muncher mule overhand. I am out of the belay here. And then I can start to take on my next step. That could be to go and just get help. That could be maybe ascending up the rope. And I need to consider, like, is what he's hanging on solid enough for me to ascend up the rope to get to him? If it's a bolt, maybe I can trust it. Maybe if it's a really big piece of gear that I feel good about. If he is able, a great way to do that is to have him maybe like go up to that last piece of gear he fell on and add another piece, build an anchor there, kind of solidify it. That's something we want to consider when we're going to ascend up that rope to the leader. I could also rope solo up to him. So I could use my remaining rope here, use a clove hitch self-belay system, even use a gree-gree self-belay system. Petzl doesn't recommend that, but climbers have been doing it for years with doing it right. Sometimes you can do that to help get yourself up there and do so safely. So I'll write about a few of those options on Canvas, but there's like the basics of a leader self-rescue or a lead belay escape. And again, a lot of things to consider. Ideally, you're going to go to that non-technical solution of just lowering them. But if they're out further than what you can lower, you don't have enough rope to get them back to your belay or to the ground, then you might have to do this. Or maybe you aren't able to lower them. Maybe you can get to a ledge at least and do a non-technical, an unweighted belay escape. But there it is, like a weighted belay escape of your lead climber, and now they're up there waiting for you to help them. And this is also a fun way too, like doing belay escapes. If you ever practice this at the crag, and you can just leave someone who's obnoxious up just hanging on the climb. Right, Zeke? You just want to spend the night up there?
No.
No?